This segment is going to spend some time talking about the product concept. Before we can actually produce a product, we have to have an idea for a product, and we have to form that idea into a concept which will make sense for the company and also make sense for the market as well. So we'll review something called the Product Innovation Charter, the PIC, and this will be a statement or a document that is drafted which will describe a product concept that will then be developed and created into an actual product that we can launch and commercialize. It's important to remember that product concepts are an outcome of an opportunity that is observed or developed somehow within the company, or an opportunity that lies outside the organization itself. So this segment again will be an introduction to the product concept, and in particular the notion of a product innovation charter. Let's begin by spending a little bit of time reviewing what an opportunity is. You'll remember that in a SWOT analysis, we have strengths and weaknesses, and then we have something called opportunities and threats, the S, W, O, and T. The O portion, the opportunity, is something that an organization or firm wants to take advantage of. It is a situation where they feel something could be capitalized upon because they have a resource or they have a skill or there is some lack or a need in a marketplace that they could take advantage of. So specifically, opportunities are ones that are germane and specific to an organization. It's one that something that could be taken advantage of, which would progress the firm towards a goal and meet its mission of the firm itself. We also know that opportunities in the way we want to think of them in product development are viable if we, the firm, have resources, which we'll talk about, but we have resources available in order to take advantage of the opportunity. And if there is a defined specific market need that we can work towards meeting, and therefore take advantage of the opportunity that persists there. So these two things have to be in place. One, we, the firm, have to be able to satisfy the need. We have to have the resources available to us and the technology and the skills to be able to do that, and there has to be a market need that exists for this to be a reality. So in our context, when we're thinking about product development, we want to think about opportunities as having both a market need and the resources that the firm could use in order to deploy in order to take advantage of the opportunities that might be out there. Here are some examples that you can think about pairing these two elements together. We think about high-tech aerodynamic corporations like Boeing. Here's a market need where people are becoming more interested in space tourism, and as such, a suborbital space vehicle of some type that could be reusable is something that could be needed or used in a marketplace. And Boeing has many resources, financial, technical. They have human resources with engineers and scientists. So they have a lot of resources available to them where they could potentially be a supplier for this particular need, and that may in turn produce an opportunity for them to pursue. Universities and colleges, they have faculty, they have stores of information and the ability to teach and deliver information, and there's a market need out there for learning, in particular maybe distance learning, and so the university may develop an internet or distance learning program that could be the resource and skill set they have available to them to take advantage of that opportunity. How about services as well? Perhaps there's a special fad or a new fad or something new happening from a services perspective, like a haircut or a hair design. And the resource might be a individual who can perform that haircut or that fashion design or that service. And the skill that that person has is the resource which can then satisfy the market need. So when we think about opportunities and we think about product design and development, we want to think about the resources we have and pairing them with market needs that exist. So a little bit more about where resources can come from or where opportunities come from relative to resources that we have. We know that there are resources available to us inside the organization. They may be characterized as exploited or underutilized resources. So there are a couple different categories there. We think of our human and technical resources that are within the firm and sometimes financial resources that are very often underutilized. These are resources that we have sitting right there next to us. So it might be certain people who have skills who are employees of the firm that are not being tapped into and used. There may be our research and development or technical processes that have been developed but not used in a commercial sense for products. And sometimes we have financial resources that we're not leveraging well enough to be able to take advantage of an opportunity in a marketplace as well. So in order to turn these underutilized resources into exploited new resources, we can find new discoveries, so new creations in the lab, new creations on how we can do business, so new discovery of processes or of new compounds or new chemicals or patents, for instance, is a good example of a new discovery. Those would be new resources that we're creating in order to take advantage of some market opportunity. Also, we could go out as a firm and we could actually acquire a resource if we don't have one. So it's not uncommon today for a high-tech firm or a computer-oriented type of a company like Alphabet now or Google or Microsoft, and to go out and actually acquire a firm that performs a specific skill, and by acquiring them, they have a new the firm has a new skill set or resource that they can bring to the market. So plenty of opportunities exist internally, and we also know that plenty of opportunities are pushed onto us externally as well. So we know that market shifts happen. Consumer desires change. Also, new competitors come in and come out of, maybe from substitute industries or firms, or direct competitors come in with a new market, new product into the market, and by virtue of their changes, either in the marketplace or again among our competitors, this somewhat forces us to rethink how we play in the marketplace. And as a result, we shift our product design to match the needs of these external mandates that are happening from outside. Also, there's this category kind of in terms of where opportunities come from and how we get pushed into them, where we may have internal mandates, we may have some external mandates as well, as I've mentioned, but owners, for instance, come in with an agenda, especially if there's change in top management. Top managers may come in with a goal or a set of points that they want to try to progress towards, and they create their own mandates of their own in order to guide the firm in seeking out opportunities. So again, we need to be externally focused to see where opportunities can come from, because it's very much an external, market need type of a satisfaction thing that we're going to do. But also, we have to maintain a sense of who we are and what we can do resource-wise, so that we can stay within our skill sets to deliver something meaningful to the marketplace. And if we can't, then we may have to go externally to try to find a resource, acquire a resource, or develop that resource from some other mean possible. Okay, so we know all about opportunities. We know what we need to think about there. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what we call the Product Innovation Charter. So this is one of the first big things that we do as we move through the product development process. We may have brainstormed, we might have done some creative work, we might have interviewed some customers, but at the end of this short-term process, after the brainstorming process, we're going to have a list of potential product ideas. And so now we actually want to put some form to those ideas in the sense that we want to create the idea as a concept and give that concept perhaps a name and also give it a project identity. That's what the Product Innovation Charter does. It is first and foremost a charter, and it creates a level of formality to an idea. So now we've made this decision that we have an idea, and the idea is strong enough to actually form some words around, create some visuals for it, and move it forward towards the product development process. This is generally thought of as an internal tool, so that it helps communicate what this concept is to others inside the organization. And it's actually going to be what drives the project forward as a project through the product development process. Sometimes we call this a PIC, a PIC, Product Innovation Charter. Sometimes firms will do this and use this in a very formal way. Other times they won't. So sometimes, depending on the formality of the organization or the firm, this will be a written document that's very, very specified, that you only can move a project forward with if you have a written PIC. In some organizations, this may not be so hard and firm. Ideally, though, we do want some type of a document that describes the product so that we're able to move it forward in a meaningful way. So it is a charter, which is a document that specifies the conditions under which the new product will be created. So it provides guidance and it provides focus. That's a very important feature of the PIC. It helps clarify what the product is going to be about. It identifies or it sets in motion the goals and objectives that that product will serve in terms of the firm, and how the firm will use it. And again, it defines kind of the constraints of the product, where the product will move forward from this point forward, and so forth. The PIC as a document, which is an active document that will be moved upon, should include elements that meet both the resource portion of the firm that will be used and also the customer portion of need that will be fulfilled. So as we talk about opportunities, we want to make sure that we build into the PIC elements that that demonstrate how the actual product concept is meeting the customer need in the opportunity while using the resources the firm has, again, also identified from the opportunity perspective. Okay, so at the firm level, we acknowledge the resources that we're going to be able to use or we're going to need to use in order for the concept to move forward. And from a customer perspective, the PIC specifies what the market need will be that is being met, so that the customer identifies and sees the value in the actual product that's going to be launched. So as we move forward, we may have brainstormed, we might see a number of different product ideas or concepts that are built off of opportunities that we see. Keep in mind as we move forward, each new product concept that we identify needs a PIC. So it might be that we take a product innovation charter and we have 5 or 6 that we're looking at all at once, and 5 or 6 product ideas may not emerge through the product development process, but at least this is where we start. And once a PIC is created, it's a document that can be referred to in the future. So this will be an internal document that you maintain and keep for years, and you may potentially pick this project back up even if you're not currently going to pursue a product idea. You still have the PIC in place so that you can move forward if desired. So as we think about the PIC in a broader sense, it should clarify what the product concept is, the direction of that the firm is going in, and so forth. This is going to reduce what we call the fuzzy front end. It'll create clarity, and it'll help communicate to others in the firm what the product idea is all about. The PIC should also give validation and credence to an idea, which is an empowering tool. So top management, once they accept a product innovation charter, it communicates to the rest of the firm that this is a product that we will pursue developing. So this gives the new product development team the go ahead or the okay to move forward once it's approved from top management. So it's like the green light after we brainstorm and we decide on which products we're going to move forward or which product concepts we're going to start to develop. This is a good thing. It also serves as a document that we'll use to begin to screen products internally and externally as we move forward. When we develop the PIC, we want to include 4 critical components. The first of which is the background information regarding the product concept. So as we create this document, the PIC, we want to think of it as containing 4 pieces, and the first of which is the background. We want to ask the question, why did we develop this product? Why are we using this product concept as we move forward? We want to recap how we got to this point in developing this product, and we can talk about this in somewhat like an executive summary where we give an overview of the need and the opportunity that are moving forward, and how we got to this point with the particular product and the genesis of the idea that was created for this good. Number 2, we want to specifically identify the opportunity and how the firm will use the resources that it has in order to create the product which will meet the need. So in this part 2 area, we identify the market need. And again, we can talk about how much need is out there. We can talk about how many customers there might be, what the specific market need is. That's a big deal, and maybe how that need is currently being met. We talk about the core competencies and the resources, the technologies that the firm will use to develop the product. And we also want to put some focus together that we can use in order to further create the product. So putting together both of these elements provides a focus, or sometimes this is called a dual drive because we're kind of doing 2 things at once, so that we can move forward and really capitalize on the things that we want to do with this product. Right. So number 3, we'll be identifying goals and objectives. So this is a key managerial aspect of doing business in general and business processes. We want to have short and long-term goals that are identified for this particular product and how we feel it will fit into the development of the firm and how the firm will move forward. So under short-term issues, we think about how the product can be developed with a certain certain budget, different stages of completion as we move forward. We set dates and like potential launch dates and so forth, and then we back up our market research, our marketing plan development, physical development, prototyping, and so forth, so that we can identify a timeline for the project. And this is very much a project management type of an idea once we start the PIC process. We also think about long-term projections and how this product concept will fit into the firm from a revenue generating perspective, from a cash flow perspective, also how it will fit into our product portfolio, and it could actually be used as a platform for future products that will be developed moving forward. So goals and objectives of the particular product as we move forward. And then finally, we think about guidelines. We think about how the product should be developed, and what constraints that we're going to have, and opportunities again that will be used as we move forward. There are certainly logistical constraints that we think of when we think of developing a new product, in terms of physical like layout of the factory, the man hour that we have available to us, the man hour that we'll need in order to develop the product. We have certain budget constraints, we have time constraints, so there are a number of logistical issues with doing something new that have to be absorbed within the firm itself. We want to be able to create the product, but we also have to have that new product creation work with the processes that we already have in place. Then finally, the cultural aspects, what the product has to be in terms of fitting into our business culturally, fitting into the marketplace culturally, and product integrity and quality. So, so what will the quality standards be for this product? How will this product fit into like our overall positioning with our firm? Will it will it be a high value, high prestige product with a lot of high-end raw materials that go into it, and so forth. So the guidelines are sort of the rules to play by in terms of how the product will need to be moved forward logistically, culturally, and then from a quality perspective. Okay, so in this segment, we talked a little bit about what opportunities are, opportunity identification. We also talked about the PIC, the Product Innovation Charter, what it is and why it is needed, and this idea that we have to bring together resources in the firm and in order to meet some market need, which manifests itself as an opportunity in the marketplace. And then as we're creating the Product Innovation Charter, we know that it has 4 components to it or parts to it that will keep together and move the product concept forward through the product development process. And those 4 components include a background of how the product concept or idea was created, its focus, which describes the opportunity that's being identified with the resources and the needs being used or met and used in the firm, the goals that the product concept will meet within the firm and the firm organizational goals for profit and so forth, and then the operational guidelines that will be needed for the organization to actually adopt the product moving forward. Okay, so again, this was an introduction to the product concept and developing the product concept within the firm and the PIC.